Here are the key quotes for the short story The Telegram by Iain Crichton Smith. 1. They were like two birds, one a fat domestic bird perhaps, the other more aquiline, more gaunt, or to be precise, more like a buzzard. Here the use of bird simile to accentuate the contrast between the two women is highly effective. Domestic suggests that the fat woman belongs in the village and is comfortable there, as she's a native, as well as emphasising her rotund shape. Whereas the word choice of aquiline highlights the sharp features of the thin woman, and the comparison to a bird of prey which flies above fat domestic birds implies that she looks down on the fat woman and the other woman of the village, and that she has to be constantly vigilant to survive. 2. It came on them as a strange plague, taking their sons away and then killing them, meaninglessly, randomly. Another effective simile is used here by Crichton Smith when he compares the destructiveness of war to a plague. Just as a plague is an insidious, infectious disease that people are terrified of catching because it kills them, so too the destructiveness of war causes people to be afraid and results in death. This skillfully develops the themes of loss and the destructiveness of war, and the word choice of meaningless underlines the futility or pointlessness of war. 3. People began to think of the telegram as a strange missile pointed at them from abroad. By using the imagery of a missile, a weapon of destruction that is aimed at a target, to convey the effects of the yellow telegrams on a household and its inhabitants, the writer makes clear the devastating impact of these telegrams on families. Just as a missile destroys its target, so too the arrival of a telegram causes irreversible damage to the families affected. 4. A weapon that left desolation just like any other weapon. This extends the previous imagery and would also be useful to quote as an example of how language is used very effectively in this short story, particularly to convey the effects of war and its destructiveness. 5. The fat woman's cow used to eat the thin woman's washing. This incident could be seen as typical of the sort of minor dramas that are so much part of life in a small rural community, such as the one where the telegram is set. This adds a light touch of humour and contrasts starkly with the darkness of the wartime setting. It also highlights the trivial and petty nature of squabbles in such small communities. 6. This was a bare village with little colour, and therefore the yellow was both strange and unnatural. The word choice of bare suggests that this is a sparsely populated village and that not much happens there, and provides important information about the setting of the village. Moreover, as there is little colour, it sounds as if it's a fairly dull place, so the bright yellow of the telegram stands out against the elders' black clothing and against the dullness of the village in general, emphasising the telegram's significance. And the words strange and unnatural add to this. 7. They were both frightened, for he could be coming to their house. The word choice of frightened here makes clear to the reader just how scared the women are, and the use of the word both serves to underline that this is a shared fear. But it is not unique to them, as the impact of war is felt by whole communities nationwide. 8. They looked at each other wildly. It must be one of them. Surely. 3 short, blunt sentences are used here, and this structure emphasises the woman's shock and terror. The word choice of wildly suggests an almost animalistic fear, once again drawing on nature to describe the woman. 9. He didn't mix with people, and he always carried the Bible into the pulpit for the minister. The reference to the importance of carrying the Bible gives the reader some insight into the importance of the church, as the Bible is seen as a religious symbol. The fact that he does not socialise much accentuates that the elder is insular, just like most of the village's inhabitants. He appears proud to be the bearer of the telegrams, or at least that is what the prejudiced fat woman believes before the truth emerges. And she also snipes that he's not even served in the war himself. After the denouement that it is the elder son that has been killed, the reader appreciates the irony of the fact that his service to God does not mean that the elder's own son has been spared, which harks back to the random nature of war. 10. She felt the arm of the thin woman around her shoulders, the thin arm, and it was like first love. The fat woman puts aside her prejudice momentarily and is able to appreciate the thin woman's compassionate gesture. It reminds her of young love, when Murdo, her husband, first held her hand, an experience which was memorable and special for her. This imagery is another example of the author's lightness of touch, providing a transient relief from the seriousness of the situation. The repetition of the word thin here also accentuates the thinness of the thin woman. 11. So unexpected, so strange, so much a gift. This sentence harnesses the power of three and the repetition of the word so to draw the reader's attention to the fact that this is a key incident in the story. And the image of the gesture as a gift emphasises the poignancy of this moment and the change in the woman's relationship, even if it is only temporary. 12. She saw the years of discipline. She remembered how thin and unfed and pale the thin woman had always looked. Here the use of the polysyndetic, thin and unfed and pale, accentuates the sacrifices that the woman has made for her son. Also, the parallel structure, she, and then she, contributes both to the characterisation of the thin woman and of the fat woman, as the latter experiences an epiphany and sees the thin woman in a different light. This quote also develops the theme of sacrifice in the story. 13. People had said she was weak and useless. The words people had said reveal the assumptions made by the prejudiced villagers and the gossipy nature of village life. The word choice of weak once again alludes to the thin woman's sacrifices. 14. Miracle of miracles. Miracle means an event not explicable by natural or scientific laws, and miracles are often associated with God and religion, which evidently play an important role in village life. And the repetition of the word miracle highlights the extreme relief, joy and gratitude felt by the two women when they discover it is not their son who has been lost. When the elder passes the last house in the village, the reader experiences a cathartic purging of emotion, as it seems that everyone is spared. However, this relief is short-lived. 15. His walk through the village was a somnambulistic wandering. The word choice of somnambulistic creates an image in the reader's mind of someone who is sleepwalking, reinforcing that the man is walking in a daze caused by the deep emotional trauma that the news in the telegram has inflicted on him. A sleepwalker's senses can be dulled, as often happens when someone experiences severe shock. Moreover, the word choice of wandering reminds the reader that people are not in control when they are sleepwalking, and this perhaps alludes to the fact that neither the elder, nor indeed anyone, can control the effects of war, nor stop the losses. 16. The telegram was crushed in his fingers and so sweaty that they could hardly make out the writing. The word choice of crushed and sweaty in this final line of the short story emphasise the emotional trauma experienced by the elder in the loss of his son. Crushed has connotations of physical damage, suggesting that the elder's hands are clenched together violently owing to the severity of his stress. The word sweaty suggests that the experience of loss is so profound that it can trigger physical manifestations. The picture formed in the reader's mind at the end of this short story is of a man whose life has been wrecked by the destructiveness of war. Thank you for watching this video and hope you find it useful. See you next time. In other videos on the Telegram, we look at an overview and key themes of the story. If you found this or any of our other videos useful, it would be great if you could subscribe to the YouTube channel. Thanks for your support.